We want to light some candles for some transitions in the life of our community. But before we do, I'd like us all to just take a deep breath. I know that when the electricity went out through the whole building for a moment, and it was a little shocking in here because it was so loud. So take a deep breath. Let your heart and body relax and feel at home and safe. As we light candle, we want to light one for Coach Reed from the Reed Foundation. We've partnered with the Reed Foundation for over a decade, doing great work in North Tulsa. Coach Reed passed away last week or a week before last, and he leaves a big hole in the North Tulsa community and in the Tulsa city of Tulsa, but he also planted many seeds that will continue to blossom for generations to come, and so we're really thankful for his life and all of his courage and contributions. We want to light a candle for community member David Teagarden Jr., who died this past week. We're thinking of his father, David Teagarden, and family and friends. We have also a candle for Elaine Belcher, friends with many people here in our community, who died this past week. And I want to light a candle in commemoration of World AIDS Day, one for all of the caregivers, like some of you sitting up here in the front, who just did courageous work during a scary and very difficult and sad time, and also one for all those who died before we were able to come up with medicines for the infection, and especially those who lost their lives at a time when it was still stigmatized and they were not given the love and the support that they certainly deserved at the end of their lives. And finally, a candle remembering this is the first Sunday of Advent for those who celebrate the Christian holidays and calendar. We are thinking about the season of anticipation, the anticipation of the coming of God or the coming of the light in our lives in a time of darkness. So with that, I invite you, if you're here and you would like us to light a candle for someone or something, please call it out and I'll light candles for you.
Jeff,
All right. And now at this time, if you're in the first year of the death of a loved one and you're in that period, that first year of mourning, or if this is the Sunday closest to the anniversary of the death of someone that you love, we invite you to stand now in the silence before the prayer in memory and mourning.
You may be seated. Spirit of life, known by many names. As the galaxies spin and the cold nights draw us up to the stars, we seek a better world on this earth. We are immersing ourselves in the stories of this season as the nights grow longer and the darkness takes hold. Days of little light reminds us of the long night within and among us, a time that can sometimes be full of despair, but also of nurturing, of growth, of hibernation, of care. Days of cold remind us of the constant need for warmth and kindness in this human world. These days of difficult travel remind us of the distances which exist between people. And so on this morning and in this season, with a rebirth in our hearts and minds of peace, let us bring into ourselves trust and beauty and joy, and all that will enable us to open ourselves to the depths within ourselves, to open ourselves to our fellow human beings, that we may find and bring light, that we now find and bring warmth, that we may cross over the distances between us and others. All this we lift up with our hearts and with love. Blessed be, and amen.
When I breathe
I breathe in
sing it with me now.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, love your voices. I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, let's hear you. I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When David leads us there, he leads us to a holy place where we are blessed with love, and to coin a phrase, amazing grace. And there's a little song written by Joyce Poley, who's a Unitarian Universalist composer, that's titled When Our Heart is in a Holy Place. And it goes like this. And you know we're going to ask you to join with us here in a second. It goes like this. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. Let's try that together. We'll help you. Here we go. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy, we are blessed with love. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place, and when we trust the wisdom in each of us, every color, every creed and kind, when we see our faces in each other's eyes, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy, yes. When our heart is in a holy, we are blessed with love. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we tell our story from deep inside, and we listen with a loving mind, and we hear our voices in each other's words, then our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place, when our heart is in a holy place, we are blessed with love amazing grace, when our heart is in a holy place.
I'm getting there.
I'm just here to support you. That's
There you go. Good morning, church. Well, you know, it's good to be back in the pulpit of all souls. There are so many excellent speakers in this house of worship that every now and then I say, remember me? But it's good to know that I am remembered.
We got you.
And because I am remembered, they asked me to come on up here and give you all a little taste of Reverend Gerald. Now, some folks may not know who Reverend Gerald is. I know we have guests, visitors, and sometimes people who say, well, I go to church when I feel like it, and today was that day. Well, let me tell you a little bit about where I come from. You see, I am recognized as the affiliate minister here. That means that I am a minister somewhere else. And that somewhere else is called Church of the Restoration, Unitarian Universalists. Now, to some people, they say, y'all are still there? We thought that church was dead. But no, it's not. It's full of what I call interdependence. And that's why I wanted to speak this morning on this subject of interdependence, so that you can get an understanding that though times may give us reason to doubt, please do not, because we are relying upon one another to move to a place that needs to be, which is a place of love. And that's interdependence. So let me say a little bit about that place called Church of the Restoration. First of all, we are not alone up there on Greenwood, or Church of the Restoration. We have 4 religious worshiping bodies, and we have 4 nonprofits. Now, the Church of the Restoration Unitarian Universalists is a religious body. We also have the Humanist Association of Tulsa. I said Humanist Association of Tulsa. As a matter of fact, they have the first Sunday of every month, and right now they're over there doing their humanist thing over at Restoration. The third is the Pilgrim Mennonite Church. They meet on Sunday afternoon, and our good friend Phil Maurice Brubaker and his wife Sarah are members. Yeah, they're a little known fact. And the fourth religious body is the Muslim American Community of Tulsa, and they have Jummah on Fridays. So there are 4 religious bodies. And then the 4 nonprofits are the Greenwood Neighborhood Association, the North Tulsa Historical Society, the Tulsa Peace Fellowship, and the African Ancestral Society. Those are the 4 nonprofits. So a lot is going on in that little place called Church of the Restoration. We call it the House of Restoration, because in our Father's house there are many mansions, Reverend David. That's what I heard. I did hear that. There are many mansions, and those are the 8 mansions in the House of Restoration. Now, what binds us together is this thing called interdependence. I want to speak a little bit about interdependence, because we don't use that word very much. We don't use that word very much because I believe it's kind of out of style now. We don't talk about interdependence because it means that you are being vulnerable. You are allowing yourself to rely upon someone else. Over at Church of the Restoration, we understand that we need each other. When there are calamities that occur, like water main bursting and flooding our halls and all like that, we called on friends. I called the southern region of the Unitarian Universalist Association. I called the southern region and I said, we need help up here. Our water mains have broken and we have water all over everywhere and we need to get it repaired, but you know, it costs a lot of money and we need some help. And the southern region said, sorry, Reverend Gerald, we love you, but we can't do that. I said, how come you can't do that? That's a disaster. They said, well, we understand, but disasters to us are hurricanes and tornadoes and orange-headed people. But anyway, they said, Reverend Gerald. I said, yes. They said, call on your friends. I said, okay. And I did. And our friends responded. All of the people who say that they understand what we're doing over there in the House of Restoration pitched in. And we got it done. We got everything repaired. We have a wonderful gleaming building inside, warm air, cool air. All of that is going on because our friends, the people we rely upon, that interdependence said, we see you and we're going to be there for you. So church, I want to speak this morning on this thing called interdependence because we need to really try. We can't just say, I can do it by myself, or I don't need your help. We need each other. And sometimes needing each other means that you say, I need you. We say that. We don't just act like it. We say it. And when we say we need help, you'd be surprised. Help comes. But you don't just sit back and wait. Notice if there's some help that's needed. But ask first. Don't just say, it looks to me like you need some help. No, just say, do you need help? Which gets us to this other point of interdependence. In your hymnals, right in front of you, that gray hymnal that's in front of you that you never pick up and read, there are several affirmations in there. And one of those affirmations is number 576. Now, you don't have to read it out loud right now, but during the sermon or during this, pick it up and read. Number 576. It's called the Litany of Restoration. That was written by Marjorie Bowens Wheatley for the inauguration of Church of the Restoration. She wrote that for us because she wanted us to understand where she was coming from and what she thought we were coming from. Every time I would see Marjorie Bowens Wheatley in meetings, and she is now an ancestor, but every time I would see her, she would say, are you all still reading my litany? I said, absolutely, that's who we are. And it begins with the powerful word, if. Yeah, Rudyard Kipling understood that, didn't he? If. Because that's a choice. That's a choice, church. If you choose, this may be the road to go. If you choose, it may not be the road to go. But it is an important word, if. And it begins, if recognizing the interdependent web of life, of all life, the interdependent of all life. That is something that we ignore because we don't think about the interdependent web of life. We don't think about the interdependency. But all around us is interdependence. The trees, the roots, the grass, the birds, the animals, we all rely upon one another. Why would not human beings have that interdependence? Recognizing that interdependence. I know this. You know I know this. Yeah, go ahead. Recognizing.
If recognizing the interdependence of all life, we strive to build community. The strength we gather
will be our salvation.
Yes. If you want me to keep going?
No, that's fine.
Okay. If you want me to read any more, you just let me know.
I certainly will. recognizing the interdependence of all life, church. You have to recognize that. You have to recognize the interdependence of all life so that you're not just thinking it's me. Or I don't want to ask anybody for help because they would think less of me. No, we're interdependent. If you need help, you ask for help. But recognizing the interdependence of all life, we strive to build community. Here's the key point. When we strive to build community, we build up muscles, don't we? When I was in seminary many, many years ago, and everyone had to take that class called homiletics, because homiletics has to do with preaching. And so, folks were ready. I want to know how to preach and get people up from the pews and say, "Go on, Reverend. I want to have that in my pocket." And our professor disabused us of that thought early on. Our professor said, in case you're thinking people come to church to hear you preach, let me tell you, people come to church because of community. That's why people go to church. They want to be with other folk like them. They want to know what's going on with other folk. It's not the preacher, it's the people. Now I'm saying that if the preacher is not giving you something to want to come to, sometimes you don't have community out there. That's right. So it kind of works together. The interdependence of all life says we strive to build community. And when you're building community, the strength we gather will be our salvation. Didn't say it's going to be out there somewhere. Didn't say it came from something that came from the Bible. It said what you have found yourself, the strength we gather from building community, that will be our salvation. Now, when we build church, understand that there is not always going to be good times. I'm not feeling real good these times because my people lost the last election. And I don't know, maybe you didn't vote for my folk, but I did. And I voted for my folk because they were telling me that I hear you. I hear you. I want that community. I'm going to build that community of all kinds of folk. It's not going to be just one kind. We're going to build upon what has already been done. We're going to make it happen. But church, I was disappointed, hurt, because I just knew that Kamala, was going to be our president. And it hurt me, church, because it wasn't close. It made me think, what's going on here in America? Don't you all understand that we all work together? It's not just y'all over there and us over here, but we all are working together. How can we do that? How can you not want to do that? That is that interdependence that says we all can do this together. We all can. It all made sense. And I had that joy of elevated thought when I'm listening to Michelle at the Democratic Convention tell us about how it could be. And I said, yes, surely people out there are hearing and feeling this. But church, I got disappointed and it hurt me badly. And I said to myself, Reverend Gerald, people are looking at you to give them hope. You can't just be down, but I am, church. I need you to help me. I need you to help me to understand that All Souls is not going to back down from justice. All Souls. Yes, I need you to tell me that, church, and make my spine tingle a little bit. Because that tells me that you're in the right place, Reverend Gerald. These folk know. Now, I know my people over there on Greenwood. I know where they are. But we're small, but mighty, but we're small. But you're not. And you have a lot of influence with people. And those people that you have influence, you got to say the good things about how important it is to be interdependent. to rely upon one another, to build community, to strengthen what it is. And yeah, sometimes we get knocked down, but we get back up. We use that strength to keep on, keep on moving. That's what we do. And I need to have that coming back at me. Now, Reverend Gerald's supposed to be doing that to you, right? But I need you to do that to me. Because, church, I got to go, and I appreciate that. Because, see, I'm not a really young man. I feel good. But I'm not a really young man. And I was in that time of that bad old time of segregation. Y'all remember that time? Where, you just couldn't do. And I keep thinking about that moment when I was in the 7th grade. I was 13 years old. I was playing basketball with the integrated school. You see, in Sapulpa, they bus the black kids over to the white school after school to practice basketball and then played, but we didn't work with each other in the classroom. That would be called integration. But we were integrated on the basketball courts. Yeah, that's what happened in Sapulpa. So I was in the 7th grade, and the 7th, 8th, 9th graders played. The 7th grade played first, and we played in that beautiful place called Okmulgee, Oklahoma. And after the game, that 7th grade game, we all went over to the little hamburger spot that was close to the gym, and we all walked in, my friend, the black man, Larry Stevens, and I. We were the black people walking into that place, and some of our teammates were sitting down eating, and we made our order at the counter, and the woman came back with 2 bags. She held them up like this. And I said, no, it's cold outside. It's snowing. We're going to eat inside. We want a tray like those guys over there. That was me, big talker, 13 years old. She kept holding up the bag. And I said, no, we're going to eat inside. It's cold out there. She didn't say a word, just held the bags. Finally, my friend, Larry Stevens, said, Gerald, come on, let's go. And we got the bags. I was shocked. We turned around, and I'm thinking, I don't understand. And our teammates, our white teammates, started laughing at us. And I walked out with my bag and Larry. We walked outside, and it was snowing, and it was cold. And I threw my bag away. Larry said, give me that.
I'll eat that.
And I said, man, that is horrible. I quit this team. I don't want to play anymore with them. They laughed at us, and they would not let us eat in that place. I'm through. And I left Larry out there eating, and I went on back into the gym and waited for the bus and went home and told my parents, I'll never play again for those people. See, that's what I remember as a kid. That's the bad old days that said, we're in charge, and you do what we want you to do. That will never happen again. It won't happen. And here's the reason why. Because we can see the okie doke. See, those people who are fascists like to say we're in charge and we know what's good for you. But those of us who understand the spirit of love says, if my heart is not feeling that, I don't believe that's how we're going to roll. So here's what I want to tell you today. Interdependence is necessary for us to live. If we're not interdependent, we're not living, because we need that strength. Now, I want to move from this idea of our politics to show you that, okay, sometimes black folks don't do what's right also. This is World AIDS Day. I recall back in the day when I was Associate Director of Tulsa Metropolitan Ministry, and I remember the Executive Director, Sister Sylvia Schmidt, who died in 2019 on December 3rd. So her day of transition is coming up. But Sister Sylvia Schmidt told me that we had to do something about this horrible time of AIDS. We're talking about AIDS this morning, and I was reminded, this is World AIDS Day. But you all may not know how horrible it was back in those days. And Sister Sylvia said to me, Gerald, there's an organization called the Regional AIDS Interfaith Network, and I want you to be a part of that. So I was on the board of the Regional AIDS Interfaith Network in the very beginning. And I was representing Tulsa Metropolitan Ministry, and we talked about going to congregations and teaching people how to care for people with AIDS. Church, you may not believe this, but they were told don't touch folks who had AIDS. So there were people who were sick and they couldn't even be touched. People were told, leave them alone. To just die in misery? No. The Regional AIDS Interfaith Network, RAIN, said that won't happen. So they went to congregations and said to congregations, you create care teams so that we can teach you what to do with folks suffering from this horrible disease. So I got on the telephone, church. I called every black congregation in Tulsa. You hear me? I was on the phone calling. They all said, no, we don't want to do that, except one. That was Reverend Henry Collier from Metropolitan Baptist Church. Now, we may know Metropolitan Baptist Church for the big place up on the hill up there on Apache, but their church was just north of 36th Street North on Hartford. Yeah. A small little congregation. Yes, Reverend Henry Collier said, yes, when you want to do the training. I gave him the date. I showed up with the folks doing the training, and there were a bunch of people in that room because Reverend Collier had called them out and said, we know the folks who may have HIV. They're our friends, and we're going to turn our backs on them? No, we will not. And so that care team, the only care team that was all black that I know of, came from Metropolitan Baptist Church. They did it. And I said, that's interdependence, church. That's what happens when we allow ourselves to love out loud. When we love ourselves to love out loud, we do that. So yes, I celebrate. Reverend Collier is going on now too. But I celebrate that brother because he did what others did not. He said, yes, we will not turn our back on our brothers and sisters. Church, we're in a place right now. It may not be the time of AIDS. It may not be the time of segregation. But it's the time when we need interdependence. We need each other badly, church. We need each other because we are in a place where people want to do, oh, this is good for you. But it's not. It won't be good if it's not for everyone. I want everyone to have what is good. It won't be just, we're going to do just this for you. Be careful and watch what happens. I believe, truly, that love will conquer all. Church, let me say this before I sit down, because I need to say this, because this is what I live by. Micah 6:8 is in the Bible, y'all. It's in the Hebrew scriptures. Micah 6:8. The question is, what does the Lord require of you? Right. Number one, do justice. Come on. Number two, love mercy. And number three, walk humbly with your God. Didn't say which God, your God, but you're walking humbly. That means that you are allowing yourself to be more than just what you think you are. You're listening. You're listening and you are saying, I think we can. Church, on this beautiful day of December the 1st, this first day, I want us to make sure that we understand one thing and one thing perfectly, that we need each other. If we allow ourselves to say that and do that, then love will conquer all. Amen?
This is another one from David that he brought. Well, actually, it's adapted, isn't it? Which is part of interdependence. You're my brother, you're my sister. So take me by the hand. Together we will work till we're done. There's no foe that can defeat us when we're walking side by side. As long as there is love, we will stand. Did I get that right, David?
Yes, you did. Beautiful.
Well, could you sing it with me?
Of course.
You're my brother, you're my sister, so take me by the hand. Together we will work until we're done. There's no foe that can defeat us when we're walking side by side. As long as there is love, we will stand. And we invite you, as you're able, to rise and stand together. And let's sing this together. Okay? You can do this.
You're my brother, you're my sister. So take me by the hand.
Take us away, David. Let's.
You're my brother, you're my sister. So take me by
Together.
together. We will work until we're done.
Till we're done. There's no foe that can defeat us.
There's no foe that can
defeat us.
when we're walking side by
When
side.
we're walking side by side.
As long as there is love,
As long as there is love,
we will stand. Let's try it again. You're my brother. You're my brother. You're my sister. So take me by the hand.
so take me by the hand.
Together we will work
Together we will
until we're done.
till we're done.
There's no foe that can defeat us
There's no foe that can defeat
when we're
us.
walking side by side.
We're walking side by side.
As long as there is love,
As long as there is
we will
love,
stand.
as long as there is love.
As long as there is love,
As long as there is love, we will stand. As long as there is love. As long as there is love, we will stand.
Before you sit down, would you give somebody a smile, a handshake, a hug, and say, let's be together.
Yeah.
Come on, tell them, let's be together. Let's be together. You may be seated.
Oh, another hug back there. I am loving it. You are filling my heart this morning. Reverend Gerald, you have filled our spirit. You have invited us. You have called us. You have told us what we need to do. Oh, dear ones, one of the traditions in our service is to give our plate away to an organization in our community that is doing good works in the world. We do this as a practice of living our love and our values. This week, our offering goes to Tulsa CASA, court-appointed advocates. Tulsa CASA are all volunteers who advocate for children in the foster care system or who have of children who have experienced neglect or abuse, a very important role. So to help our finance team ensure that your generosity reaches the right destination, we ask that you mark your check or envelope for offering, if you're making it for the offering. And if you're making a pledge payment to All Souls, mark your envelope or your check with church. So this morning, if you are ready to join All Souls or want more information about membership, please join us at 12:45 in room 203 with Reverend Marlin, who will be up there to greet you. That's at 12:45 if you're interested in becoming a member. Folks who are new or even just newish, that works too. You're invited to the Sonnen Library. That's out the doors to the left across the hall. And there's some light refreshments. There's some folks to answer your questions, to share about the history of the church, and to tell you about our programs. There's so much going on. It is December, my friends. December is filled with warmth and music and traditions here at All Souls. This little flyer, I would tuck it in your pocket. I'm going to give you some of the highlights. Next Sunday, I am very excited. One service, 10:30 a.m., got it right this time, 10:30 a.m. We have a triple header. So we have this one service, 10:30 a.m., followed by the congregational meeting. You're going to read your bylaw revisions beforehand. You're going to be ready. You're going to be ready for that meeting to go smooth. We're going to approve that budget. We're going to be excited about it. And then afterwards, you're going to have lunch. And it's time for that magic. You're going to help Christmas tree trimming, socializing, and doing the traditions. We already got started. We need the rest with your help, so we need you on that Sunday. So again, this is the time for the congregational meeting, 10:30, worship service, 10:30, followed by the congregational meeting, lunch, tree trimming, magic. Feed your spirit, feed All Souls, feed yourself and family, feed the holiday spirit. Do not miss next Sunday. Now, we like crispy potatoes here at All Souls, but our ovens are broken. Oh. You may have seen the video on social media, the inventive things we're doing with our ovens that are not working. So we need your help on this Giving Tuesday. Please make a donation because we like our crispy potatoes and other things that we bake in the oven. Deck the halls with All Souls merchandise. I ordered a hat the other night after Thanksgiving, so I'm going to have a warm noggin. Hoodies, beanies, long sleeve T-shirts, etc. Mythic Press. Place your order by December 8th, and that can be a holiday present. And very special in this community, our holiday memorial chapel service, Wednesday, December 11th. 6:30 p.m. This intimate and reflective service provides a space of healing and reconciliation and connection. For more information for all these events and all the upcoming activities here at All Souls, you can check out our website. You can check out your order of service. And we are now grateful to receive our offering for Tulsa Casa.
Beautiful. Well, it is so nice. I just feel warmer by being in your company and singing together and being together in this way, lighting our chalice, all of that. I mentioned people being home for the holidays and how nice it is to see you. I want to point out one very special person, Reverend Kent Doss, who grew up in this church. Kent, it's good to see you. He serves our church. He grew up in this church, went on to be ordained as a Unitarian Universalist minister, and serves our Tapestry Church in Lake Forest, California. It's great to see you, Kent. Thanks for being with us. It's always good when you're home for the holidays. He doesn't tell me he's coming because he's afraid I'm going to put him in the pulpit, and he wants a Sunday off. I know how that goes. But it is so great to be together. And Reverend Davis, what a beautiful message. And I just want to say it's great to see some new faces, some visitors and guests with us this morning. You know, and sometimes we talk about politics. Reverend Davis has talked a lot about politics. But I want to make sure everybody, if you're here for the first time, know that we have everybody. We have independents. We have Democrats. We have libertarians. We have Green Party, Socialist, Republican, you name it. This is a house where everybody is welcome. And one of the things that I love about it is that we talk openly and honestly with one another, so that if maybe we voted for one person over another person, we get to hear the impact of that decision on the people we love and people we're in covenant with and that we care about. So it meant a great deal to me to hear Reverend Davis talk about the impact on him of the recent election. And I just want to make sure everybody knows you are welcome in this house. Whoever you vote for, whoever you love, wherever you live, you are welcome here. And we are glad that you're here. I invite you now to rise as Reverend Davis comes forward and leads us in a benediction. And first-time visitors, I look forward to greeting you in the Sonnen Library after the service.
Okay. All right, here we go. May the melody of our worship, the harmony of our coming together, and the rhythm of our goodbyes make music our living, that we may go from this place and lead full lives with melody, with harmony, and with rhythm, and return to sing our songs and tell our stories. And the church was heard to say, amen. All right.